Have you noticed your feet feeling colder than they used to? Maybe you get tired more quickly when you're walking through the grocery store, or your legs feel heavy by the end of the day. If you're over 50, there's a good chance these symptoms aren't just about getting older. They're signals that your circulation might need some support. Here's something most people don't realize. Research shows that our ability to produce a critical molecule called nitric oxide drops significantly as we age. Studies indicate this decline can reach 50% or more after age 40. Nitric oxide is what tells your blood vessels to relax and widen, allowing blood to flow freely. When you don't have enough of it, your arteries stay constricted, and that creates all sorts of problems. Poor oxygen delivery to your tissues, cold extremities, reduced stamina, even an increased risk of falling because your balance depends on good blood flow to your legs and brain. But here's the encouraging part. Scientists have discovered that certain beverages can naturally boost your body's nitric oxide production and support healthier circulation. These aren't medications or expensive supplements. They're drinks you can make at home, many using ingredients you might already have in your kitchen. Today I'm sharing 7 evidence-based drinks that research suggests may help improve blood flow, especially for those of us over 50. Stick around until the end because I'll tell you which combination researchers found most effective in clinical studies. Before we dive in, let me be clear. These drinks are meant to complement, not replace, any treatment plan your doctor has recommended. If you're taking blood thinners or medications for blood pressure, always check with your healthcare provider before making significant dietary changes. Some of these beverages can interact with medications, so professional guidance is essential. This content is educational, not medical advice. All right, let's start with the foundation. Every single morning, before you reach for coffee or breakfast, consider starting with something incredibly simple: warm water with fresh lemon. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds too basic to make a real difference. But hear me out on the science. When you squeeze half a fresh lemon into warm water first thing in the morning, you're doing several things for your circulation. The vitamin C in lemon helps protect an enzyme your body uses to produce nitric oxide. Without adequate vitamin C, this enzyme doesn't function efficiently. The warmth of the water also encourages gentle dilation of your blood vessels. It's like giving your cardiovascular system a gentle wake-up call. Many people over 60 who start this habit report that their feet don't feel as icy after breakfast anymore. It's not dramatic, but it's consistent. Think of it as laying the groundwork for the day. You're hydrating after a night of sleep, when your body naturally becomes somewhat dehydrated, and you're priming your circulatory system to work more effectively. The key is consistency. Every morning. Make it automatic, like brushing your teeth. Moving on to number 2. And this one has been used in traditional medicine for centuries: fresh ginger tea. Not the powdered stuff from a tea bag, but real, fresh ginger root that you grate and steep. Here's why it matters for circulation. Ginger contains compounds called gingerols that have been studied extensively. Research indicates these compounds may have mild blood-thinning effects similar to aspirin, but without the same bleeding risk when used in normal culinary amounts. Ginger appears to improve microcirculation, which is the flow of blood through your smallest vessels, especially in your hands and feet. To make it properly, take about a teaspoon of freshly grated ginger and steep it in hot water for 5 to 7 minutes. Sip it slowly. You'll often feel a gentle warming sensation spreading through your body. That's not just psychological. Your capillaries are actually responding to the gingerols by opening up slightly. One important note for those on blood thinners like warfarin or taking daily aspirin: ginger can enhance these effects, so talk to your doctor about appropriate amounts. Now let's talk about what many researchers consider the gold standard for nitric oxide support: beetroot juice. This one has more scientific backing than almost any other food when it comes to circulation benefits in older adults. Beets are extraordinarily rich in dietary nitrates. When you consume beet juice, the bacteria in your mouth convert these nitrates into nitrites, which then become nitric oxide in your bloodstream. This process bypasses the age-related decline in your body's natural nitric oxide production. It's like taking a different pathway that still gets you to the same beneficial destination. Studies on older adults are particularly interesting. Research published in multiple journals has shown that drinking beetroot juice can reduce blood pressure within hours of consumption. In one study with older adults, Participants who consumed beetroot juice showed improved walking performance and better blood vessel function after just a few weeks. Another investigation found that arterial stiffness decreased in people over 60 who drank beet juice regularly. The timing matters. Blood flow improvements typically peak about 90 minutes to 2 hours after drinking beet juice, so some people drink it mid-morning or before activities that require more stamina. The taste is quite earthy, so if you find it unpalatable straight, you can mix it with apple, carrot, or orange juice. Just avoid cooking beets if your goal is circulation support. Heat destroys many of those beneficial nitrates. Raw or juiced is the way to go. How much? Most research uses about 4 to 8 ounces daily. Start small and work your way up, as some people experience digestive adjustment. Also, don't be alarmed if your urine or stool turns pinkish red. That's completely normal and harmless when consuming beets. Coming in at number 4, we have pomegranate juice. This deep ruby red fruit has been studied extensively for cardiovascular health, and the findings are compelling for older adults specifically. Pomegranates are packed with polyphenols, particularly powerful antioxidants that protect your blood vessel linings from oxidative damage. Think of it this way. Your blood vessels have a delicate inner lining called the endothelium. When this lining gets damaged by oxidative stress, which increases as we age, nitric oxide breaks down more quickly. Pomegranate polyphenols act like a protective shield, allowing nitric oxide to survive longer in your bloodstream. There's a landmark study that followed people with carotid artery disease, which is plaque buildup in the neck arteries that feed your brain. Those who drank pomegranate juice daily for 1 year showed a 30% reduction in arterial plaque thickness, while those who didn't drink it saw their plaque increase by 9%. Their blood pressure also dropped significantly. Now, this was a small study, and results varied among individuals, but it suggests pomegranate may offer real cardiovascular benefits. For circulation purposes, research typically uses about half a cup to 1 cup of pure pomegranate juice daily. The key word here is pure. Many commercial pomegranate juices are mostly apple juice with a splash of pomegranate. Read labels carefully. You want 100% pomegranate juice with no added sugars. Yes, it's tart. That sharp tanginess is partly what tells you you're getting real pomegranate polyphenols. Number 5 might surprise you because we often think of it mainly for its antioxidant benefits. Green tea. But green tea does something remarkable for your blood vessels that goes beyond just providing antioxidants. The catechins in green tea, particularly one called EGCG, activate pathways in your endothelial cells that boost nitric oxide production. Essentially, green tea tells your blood vessel linings to make more of the molecule that relaxes arteries. Some researchers compare this effect to what happens during light aerobic exercise. For older adults, this is significant. Many people over 60 have reduced endothelial function simply due to aging. Green tea appears to help compensate for that decline. Studies suggest that drinking 2 to 3 cups of green tea daily is associated with better arterial flexibility and improved blood flow. Here's a practical approach. Have 1 cup mid-morning and another mid-afternoon. Brew it properly, steeping for 3 to 5 minutes in water that's hot but not quite boiling, around 175 degrees Fahrenheit. Boiling water can destroy some of those beneficial catechins. If caffeine is a concern for you, especially later in the day, decaffeinated green tea still contains the circulation-supporting compounds, though possibly in slightly lower amounts. Many people report that after replacing their afternoon soda or second coffee with green tea for a few weeks, they notice their legs don't feel as heavy by evening. Is it dramatic? No. But consistent, gentle support adds up over time. Next up is something you can enjoy in the evening. Tart cherry juice or concentrated cherry extract. This one works through a different mechanism than the others, and it's particularly helpful if you struggle with nighttime leg cramps or restless legs. Tart cherries, also called Montmorency cherries, contain compounds called anthocyanins. These pigments that give cherries their deep color have potent anti-inflammatory properties. Chronic inflammation is terrible for circulation because it makes blood vessels stiffer and less responsive. By reducing inflammation, cherry juice helps your arteries stay more flexible. There's another benefit that matters specifically for older adults. Tart cherry juice naturally contains melatonin, which can improve sleep quality. Better sleep means lower nighttime blood pressure variability, which gives your cardiovascular system time to recover and repair. Many people notice that when they drink tart cherry juice before bed, they not only sleep better, but also wake up with less muscle soreness and fewer leg cramps. For circulation benefits, research typically uses about 8 ounces of tart cherry juice daily, often consumed in the evening. If you're watching sugar intake, you can find concentrated cherry extract supplements, though the juice form may be more effective because it includes additional beneficial compounds from the whole fruit. Now we're getting to number 7, and this one feels almost indulgent. Dark cocoa. Not the sugary hot chocolate mix, but real, unsweetened cocoa powder. The flavonols in cocoa are among the most studied compounds for vascular health in aging adults. Multiple research studies have shown that cocoa flavonols increase nitric oxide production directly in the lining of blood vessels. One notable study with older adults found that those who consumed high flavonol cocoa daily showed measurable improvements in walking speed and exercise capacity after just a few weeks. The effect was most pronounced when people drank cocoa before physical activity. Here's why that matters. When you exercise, even just walking, your muscles contract and release a signal that tells blood vessels to produce more nitric oxide. Cocoa appears to amplify this response, so you're getting a synergistic effect. The cocoa plus movement equals better circulation than either one alone. To make circulation-supporting cocoa, use 1 to 2 tablespoons of unsweetened cocoa powder in hot water or warm milk of your choice. You can add a small amount of honey or stevia if needed, but avoid loading it with sugar, which would counteract the benefits. Some people find that having this mid-morning before a walk or in the afternoon makes physical activity feel easier. One note of caution: cocoa does contain some caffeine, though much less than coffee. If you're sensitive to caffeine, enjoy it earlier in the day rather than right before bed. So those are 7 evidence-based drinks that research suggests may support healthier circulation in older adults. But here's an important question. Do you need to drink all of them? Absolutely not. That would be impractical and probably overwhelming. Instead, think about building a simple daily rhythm. Perhaps warm lemon water first thing in the morning to wake up your system. A glass of beet or pomegranate juice mid-morning for nitric oxide support. Green tea in the afternoon instead of another coffee. Maybe cherry juice or cocoa in the evening to reduce inflammation and support overnight recovery. The key isn't perfection, it's consistency, with a few of these that you genuinely enjoy. If you hate the taste of beets, don't force it. Try pomegranate instead. Can't stand cherry juice? Focus on the others. The goal is to find 2 or 3 that fit naturally into your routine and stick with them. Let me address something important that came up in my research. Some people wonder if supplements containing nitric oxide boosters would be simpler than all these drinks. Here's what the science shows. Whole food sources, like the drinks we've discussed, contain multiple beneficial compounds that work together. Beetroot juice doesn't just provide nitrates. It also has vitamins, minerals, and other plant compounds that support the conversion of nitrates to nitric oxide. Pomegranate isn't just polyphenols. It's a complex mix of nutrients that support vascular health in multiple ways. When you isolate single compounds into supplements, you often lose that synergistic effect. That said, if drinking fresh juices isn't practical for you due to cost, access, or other limitations, some supplements may provide benefits. But whenever possible, whole food sources appear more effective based on current research. Now let's talk about what to avoid, because this is just as important as what to include. Excessive sodium intake constricts blood vessels and can essentially cancel out the benefits of these circulation-supporting drinks. The American Heart Association recommends limiting sodium to less than 2,300 milligrams daily, and ideally closer to 1,500 milligrams for older adults with high blood pressure. That means being mindful of processed foods, canned soups, and restaurant meals, which are often loaded with salt. Also consider what you're drinking throughout the day. Sugary sodas and energy drinks cause inflammation that damages blood vessels. Excessive alcohol has similar effects. When you replace these with the circulation-supporting beverages we've discussed, you're making 2 positive changes at once. You're adding beneficial compounds and removing harmful ones. Another critical factor is hydration itself. Even mild dehydration, which is common in older adults, thickens your blood and makes circulation more difficult. Think of it like trying to push honey through a straw versus pushing water. The consistency matters. Aim for 6 to 8 glasses of fluid daily, and remember that these healthful drinks count toward that total. Exercise and movement deserve mention too. These drinks are not a replacement for physical activity. They work best when combined with movement. Even light activity matters. When muscles contract during walking or stretching, they squeeze your veins and help push blood back toward your heart. They also release signals that tell blood vessels to produce more nitric oxide. So if you drink beetroot juice and then take a 15-minute walk, you're likely to get better results than drinking it and sitting still. For those dealing with peripheral artery disease or significant circulation problems, these dietary approaches should be part of a comprehensive plan developed with your doctor. They may help, but they're not a cure for advanced vascular disease. If you have pain in your legs when walking that's relieved by rest, called claudication, that needs medical evaluation. The same goes for wounds on your feet or legs that heal slowly, or sudden changes in skin color or temperature in your extremities. Let's talk about realistic expectations. When will you notice a difference? The honest answer is that it varies significantly between individuals. Some people report feeling warmer feet or having more energy within a few days of starting these habits. Others notice gradual improvements over several weeks. And for some, the changes are subtle enough that they only realize the benefit when they stop the routine and symptoms return. What does research suggest is a reasonable timeline? Studies on beetroot juice typically show blood pressure reductions within hours, but improvements in walking distance and exercise capacity usually take 2 to 4 weeks of consistent consumption. For pomegranate, arterial health benefits in published studies often emerged after 3 months to a year. Green tea studies suggesting improved endothelial function usually involve daily consumption for at least 4 to 8 weeks. The pattern here is clear. These are not quick fixes. They're long-term, sustainable approaches to supporting vascular health as you age. Think of them as daily investments in your circulatory system, similar to how you might think about saving money for retirement. Small, consistent contributions over time that add up to significant benefits. I want to address cost because I know that's a practical concern for many people, especially for those living on fixed incomes. Some of these recommendations, particularly fresh pomegranate juice and tart cherry juice, can be expensive. Here are some strategies to make this more affordable. First, prioritize. You don't need all of these drinks. Pick 1 or 2 that research suggests are most effective and that you can afford consistently. Beetroot juice and green tea are probably your best value in terms of research evidence and cost. Second, make your own where possible. A bunch of fresh beets is relatively inexpensive and can make several glasses of juice if you have a blender or juicer. Fresh ginger root is cheap, and a little goes a long way. Lemons are usually affordable year-round. Making your own is almost always less expensive than buying bottled juices, and you control exactly what goes into them. Third, watch for sales and buy in bulk when possible. Unsweetened cocoa powder and green tea bags store well. Frozen cherries can be just as beneficial as fresh for making cherry juice and are often more affordable. Fourth, consider the cost of not addressing poor circulation. Medications, doctor visits for complications, and treatments for problems like diabetic foot ulcers or falls are all expensive. Investing a few dollars daily in nutrition that supports your vascular health may actually save money long-term by helping prevent more serious issues. Medicare covers treatments for many circulation problems, but prevention is always preferable to treatment. Before we wrap up, I want to emphasize one more time the importance of talking with your healthcare provider, especially if you have existing health conditions or take medications. Beetroot and pomegranate can lower blood pressure, which is generally positive, but if you're already taking blood pressure medications, the combination could make it drop too low. Ginger and certain other compounds may interact with blood thinners. Your doctor needs to know about significant dietary changes so they can monitor you appropriately and adjust medications if needed. Think of your doctor as a partner in your health, not an obstacle to trying natural approaches. Most physicians appreciate when patients are proactive about lifestyle and nutrition. They can help you integrate these strategies safely into your overall health plan. They might even adjust your medications over time as your circulation improves, which would be a wonderful outcome. So here's what I want you to take away from this video. Your circulation doesn't have to decline dramatically just because you're getting older. Yes, age-related changes in blood vessels are real, and nitric oxide production naturally decreases. But you're not powerless against these changes. Simple, evidence-based dietary strategies can support healthier circulation throughout your later decades. Start with 1 or 2 drinks from this list that appeal to you. Maybe warm lemon water every morning and a glass of beetroot juice at mid-morning. Or green tea twice daily and tart cherry juice before bed. Make these part of your routine for at least 4 to 6 weeks before deciding if they're helping. Pay attention to how you feel. Are your feet warmer? Do you have more stamina when walking? Are you sleeping better? These subtle shifts are how you'll know it's working. Combine these drinks with staying well hydrated, moving your body regularly, managing stress, and limiting salt and sugar. It's the combination of healthy habits that creates meaningful change, not any single magic bullet. Remember, every sip is sending a message to your blood vessels. Relax. Open up. Let oxygen and nutrients flow freely to every cell. That's the power of using food as medicine. It works with your body's own wisdom rather than against it. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these circulation-supporting drinks are you already using? Have you noticed any benefits? Or are you going to try one based on what you learned today? Drop a comment below and let me know your age and where you're watching from. I read every comment, and I learned so much from hearing about your experiences. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button. It helps other people discover this information, especially others in our age group who are looking for natural ways to support their health. Share this with a friend or family member who might benefit from learning about circulation-supporting drinks. Maybe send it to your sister who's always complaining about cold feet, or your brother who's dealing with high blood pressure. And if you haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I create videos specifically for those of us over 50 who want to take charge of our health using evidence-based, practical strategies. No miracle cures or impossible recommendations, just solid information you can actually use in your daily life. Coming up in my next video, I'll be talking about the 5 biggest mistakes people make when trying to improve their circulation and how to avoid them. You won't want to miss that one, because some of these mistakes might be things you're doing right now without realizing they're actually making your circulation worse. Until then, stay healthy, stay active, and remember that small, consistent steps toward better health are what create real, lasting change. Here's to warm feet, strong legs, and blood vessels that keep working well for decades to come. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.